One of the things that you might want to be able to do is to insert a video within your video. And these videos might be of your students working on projects or what have you. And we're also going to add some scrolling text so that you can actually explain what's happening in the video. So the first thing we're going to do is to pick the slide we're going to use to insert the video on. We're going to either create the video by taking pictures in our videos in our classroom, or we'll identify a video that we found. And then we'll insert the video, we'll adjust the playback options. We'll then insert the text and animate the text. And the last thing I'll do is actually I'm going to put a slide transition in there as well. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to pick this blank slide, which is the next one here, and we will go ahead and insert the video on this slide. So you click on Insert, and over here Video, and Video on my PC. Now if you select the Videos folder, okay, there's some sample videos folder in there, and there is one in there. It's called Wildlife. This has really nothing to do with our projectile bowling project, but it's one that's available. So let's go ahead and select that one. Okay, so there you see it. It's a black box. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to stretch this out so it covers the entire screen. Now the reason I'm going to do that, I want to be able to scroll my text over the top of it. There's a couple options here. One is we can do it like this, or we can play it full screen. The problem is if you play it full screen, the text box won't appear at all. So we're just going to stretch it out. Some videos you may not be able to do this because it distorts it too much. So anyhow, we stretched it out. Now what we have to do is start making some settings changes. Now I'm going to open up the animation box, the animation pane. Okay, and here we have the wildlife video. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start this with previous, so it starts immediately. Some other adjustments I want to make, I'm going to click on this and then adjust some of the playback options. Now I've decided that I only want about 20 seconds of this video. This video is 30 seconds long. I'm going to trim this a little bit. You trim this just the same way you did when you trimmed your audio track. So I'm going to make this about 20 seconds here, and we'll click OK. And I'm going to put some fade in and fade out here. So you can fade in and fade out the video just like you do audio. So I'm going to put a 2-second fade in, and we'll put a 5-second fade out. Now I've checked these settings ahead of time if you're wondering where I got these from. I also, what I want to do is I've got to set this start to automatic, and I'm not going to use the full screen mode, and I'm not going to hide while not playing. I'm going to leave these unchecked right here. Now I think I've got all my settings made for my video. Now what I'd like to do is add this text box that scrolls across the screen. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to, down here in this scroller bar, I'm going to make this a 40% view. Maybe make it just a tad smaller here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert a text box. So I'm going to insert to shapes, and then right here I'm going to click on text box, and right below the screen here I'm going to put this text box. And the reason I'm putting it down here is I want it to be off screen. Okay, so what I'm going to do is type in message in here. You won't be able to see it at first. I'll blow it up here in just a second. So I'm going to say this is some text I want to move across the screen. Okay, and you'd put there whatever it is that you're trying to demonstrate. So I've got the text box selected. I would like to make the text a little larger. Okay, I'm going to center it. Let's make it just a tad larger. Okay, now this particular video, it turns out that the text looks better in white. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the text to white. Okay, and I can't see it very well now, but anyhow, you will when it scrolls across the screen. So now what I'd like to do is I'd like this to move across the screen. And the way I'm going to do that is by putting an animation feature in it. So we'll go to animations, and I'm going to use something called the motion paths. Notice here we got motion paths, and I'm going to use the line motion path. You've got a number of different types of motion paths, even a custom motion path, so I can make this thing zigzag across the screen if I wanted to, and so on. But I'm just going to use lines. So I click on that. It takes a little bit for it to. Now, the green dot indicates where it's going to start. The red dot indicates where it's going to stop. Now, I don't want it to stop here. What I'd like to do is I'd like for it to stop up here. So basically what it's going to do, it's going to move from the bottom to the top. Okay, so I've got that specified. Now what I have to do is I have to give it some, I'm going to click on it, and I have to give it some, change its settings. So what I'd like it to do is I would like it to go, let's do with previous. Okay, so we want it to start at the same time that the wildlife video starts to play. But I'm going to make the duration a little bit longer. The duration tells it how long it takes to go across the screen, and I know about 10 seconds is about the right amount. Okay, and I want the video to play just a little bit before I actually bring it onto the screen, so I'm going to delay it about 5 seconds. Okay, so I think I've got my let me click on this again. I clicked off of it. Okay, so I've got my settings set here. Okay, the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put a transition on this slide. So the transitions are here. I've actually got a cut transition set up, and I'll leave it at cut. You can select anything here. We've used the dissolve in the past. Use whatever is appropriate. Okay. Now for the cut transition here, remember we trimmed our video so that it would play in about 20 seconds. I'm going to put a transition time or slide advance time of 20 seconds here as well. Okay, the duration for the transition is 3 seconds, so it's a little bit longer transition, but that way you can see what that looks like. Okay, so I think we're ready to go. Let's play it.